Our private investigators, they're primarily used for surveillance. We have used them in the past to do some interviews. They do a lot of social media research for us. We don't often use them for interviews because they don't have the direct tie. They're working under contract for us. They pick up information from the local areas that your courthouse might have that we're not able to go to the counties right away and get landowner information or vehicle information. They can get that and get it to us. Usually a claim examiner requests the PI, and that's again for an activity check. They're the ones that are the first to know something's going on. Our private investigators are contracted with us. It's renewed every year. Typically, when they go out on an investigation, we give them 2 days, 20 hours. I'm in contact with them all the time, 4 or 5 times in the morning, and then usually at the end of the day, excuse me, we call an update. And a lot of times I'll call them off. Where they don't know if the person is home or the person isn't home, they'll say, what do you want us to do? Well, we don't know, or they can't find their house. We have the wrong address. People give us wrong addresses, but proper post office boxes. Proper post office box, they can still get checks. Yep, red flags, exactly. We need to do a little bit more work on that. And so that does happen, but we'll call them off, or they'll call me at the end of the day. They've got 20 hours and they say, hey, he just went to the gym. I said, why don't you stay on him if you can? Why don't you stay on him today for a few hours, come back and see what's going on tomorrow. So we can extend the time depending on what's going on. Some of the examples where private investigators' work led to fraud cases. We followed a claimant working at Walmart while they were receiving TTD, temporary total disability. A man caught malingering by videotaping him walking and skipping up steps without his crutches right after a doctor's appointment. Seriously happens. The guy in Utah that I talked about earlier, we followed him one day and we are right behind him, parked on the street. He's in a big Dodge pickup. We park right behind him. We get him out of the truck, going into the doctor, and he can't even hardly walk. Seriously, he's got trouble. And he goes into the doctor's office. All he was doing was renewing a prescription. He didn't get a manipulation. He didn't get an injection. We checked that out. He comes out of there, jumps in his truck. Within 2 hours, he's carrying a big 4x12 beam up a ladder to put in place to build a carport for somebody, for wages. The standard that we like to catch somebody, this guy was good. I mean, we saw him sitting on that rafter, moving the ladder with his feet. A woman on TTD from a knee injury caught working as a stripper in a men's club. Interesting fact here, the video didn't work out. And the reason it didn't work out, all those clubs have black lights and they won't allow cameras. So if you would go in and want to take a picture of somebody, it doesn't work out. Yes, sir?
Did you investigate that one yourself?
I did not. I did not, but 3 or 4 other guys did, making light of that. But that was right before I got to work there. A man was caught operating a trailer sales business in Wyoming. He'd been hurt here. We followed him back to Wyoming where he was from, and he was selling trailers. And then a claimant is video recorded replacing windshields with his head. Now, I didn't really know that wasn't my case either. But what happened is, you know how they cut the tar stuff out around the window and then push it out? He cut the tar out, run the wire around, and he put his head against it. He's got a neck injury. And he puts this against it and gives a big shove. Come on, that would hurt my neck, and I don't have a neck injury. I'm going to go back to that one. What do we do with these videos? They're kind of fun to talk about. They're kind of fun to watch. I started out, I watched them all. I watch very few of them now. The ones I watch is when our claims examiner comes back and says, you know, I want to send them to the doctor. And we send a lot of them to the doctors. They go to see the doctor and they tell them how bad they're hurt. And the doctor writes the report, says, yes, you get all these pills, you need to be off work. We send a video to them and say, would you please watch this? Keep in mind your report on that person. We get about half and half response on the good ones. About half of them come back with mad letter. They're mad at that person. They're mad because they got duped. Others say it appears they're working outside of their expected duties or expected what they can do. And pardon me.
It's a CYA letter.
It is, and that part is. But we have a lot of them though that'll come back and say, we're just standing by our original diagnosis. I can understand that too, because who wants to admit that they were taken? These guys are professional, they're very knowledgeable, and they are good. And probably close to 100% of them are good, the doctors, I mean. And they hate to admit that they were taken. But on the other ones, they're good.
But how many doctors are really going to tell you or tell anybody that, well, I don't think you're quite this hurt, or you're lying to me, or, I mean, they're not going to...
50 to 70% of them that we send to them.
Really?
Oh yeah, and because we're going to ask them to testify. Well, they cover themselves, but we also have them send us 3 and 4 page reports. And we've got a guy right now that Justice is just finishing up, and the doctor said it for us. Said, this man is malingering, and I would testify against him. He is no longer my client, my patient. He fired the patient. Wow. I sent that over. I didn't have to do a report. I had to write a little, yeah, exactly. I didn't give it to Shane. He didn't have to do anything, go out and interview. We took care of everything. We don't have to testify. I don't have to testify because I don't write reports. But Shane didn't have to. The doctor will do it. That's way better. He has way better credit than I do.